We're live.
Yay, good morning, everybody, and happy Sunday. I have a special guest with me this morning. I have Ina Hoskins with me. We're working on a special project, so I just wanted to make sure to introduce her to the group and to our community. You might have seen her before. She has been a part of our community. And we have a very special day for you today. We have Michael Ocher, who is a Kabbalistic educator and spiritual leader. And I'm so excited to hear what Michael has to offer us today.
Yes. And my name is Julia Vernadsky. I am the co-founder of Conscious Life Collective with Miki, this way. Yes, and the founder and an artist with Untamed Hearts. Yeah, very excited about today and the converse. Welcome, Michael. Thank you, everyone who is joining us live, and maybe somebody's watching replay. So welcome to the broadcast about consciousness and energy of the week. And today we're gonna touch a very it's a subject that everyone want to know about. How do we stay young and live wise at the same time? So there is an energy and a consciousness in the universe that is supporting this question. It's not a random question. And also, I just want to say, listen, guys, we're watching history unfold. The results of the elections are here. And different people feel different things. I'm feeling grateful, hopeful, and I feel very light today. So with that, how do we stay young and how do we live wise, Michael?
Thank you, everyone. Thank you for joining. Thank you, Miki. Thank you, Julia. And welcome to Connection, so we can connect to the energy that the universe, the creator is offering us, and our souls are offering us today and for the whole week, and in general, how we can grow. And like Julia shared, this week has a lot to do with being young, with staying connected, staying energetic, staying optimistic, staying positive, all the good stuff to keep it on our soul level. And we're still in the month of Scorpio. Scorpio is a beautiful sign. It's the sign of desire, sign of intuition, of a little bit of extremes. They don't like mediocre, they don't like gray, they like black or white, life or death. Very strong, very intense sign. And the question is, how do you stay young? How do you stay young forever, right? That's actually something that the wisdom of Kabbalah teaches us, is actually we're promised, and our goal is immortality. Our goal is, for us to reach a state where our body will not decay, where our body will grow back anything that's missing, where that aging process is actually just a gene. It's part of our DNA. So if actually scientists know that immortality is possible, that if you remove this gene, then our body, human body, will stop going through aging process and will just remain young. And obviously there's a question of what are we going to do with all the people on earth, and how are we going to survive, and there's not going to be enough of anything. Obviously there's that question. But more importantly, we want to look at it more practically, of what does it mean to stay young? What does it mean to stay young? What does it mean to stay, be more like a kid, right? Be more like a kid. And this comes from the wisdom of Kabbalah is sourced in biblical studies, and it comes from the study of the life of Sarah. And it's very interesting. It's written that she lived 127 years. And for some reason, the mentioning of the 120 is mentioned like 1 year, like 100 year, 20 year, and 7 years. And there's a lot of many different secrets about it. And one of them is to teach us what is youth, what is being young, what does it mean, and really don't have to go too far. you don't need to go too far at all. You can just look at the kids, right? That's our greatest way to see who is young, what is young, etc. is just to look at kids, right? Very simple. And what do kids have? They have a lot of desire, a lot of cravings, a lot of movement, a lot of energy. They're not settled on spiritual, physical, on emotional level, on all levels. They're very dynamic. And Kabbalistically, the secret of youth, for being young and being connected and being staying younger, is about having a lot of desire, having a lot of goals, having a lot of aspirations, having interest, staying curious, staying interested, not thinking in a linear way. You know, one of the things that I heard about difference between kids and adults in terms of how they think is that as we grow, we start to think very linear. We start to use only one part of our brain for a certain function. So if you're, very abstract, if you're reading something and it has to do with self-improvement, you're starting to analyze. So it starts to only focus and only use one part of your brain. However, when scientists looks at kids' brains, the whole machine works together. It's like an orchestra. It's like everything is working together as one. There's no isolation of one region of a brain working. It's like a dance. It's like everything is moving together. And that's one of the things we want to do, is we want to make sure that we're never set in our opinions, that our opinions are very light. They're not set in stone. They're not determined kind of like by, written in stone, and this is how it is, and that's it. There's no other way around it. So you want to be flexible, fluid, moving. That's another thing. It's actually movement. That kids are constantly moving in the most interesting, dynamic way. And it's only as we grow, we start to kind of settle into our body, and our body becomes rigid, and our becoming becomes kind of like set. So that's why one of the best things you can do is yoga for your body, dance, movement exercise. Because another thing about our brain is that one of its primary functions overall is movement. So when the person is learning new movements, when the person is constantly learning how to use their body in a different way, they will keep their brain young also, which is an amazing idea, right? That you don't just keep your body stiff, kind of, and your mind. You make it fluid. But more importantly, it's about desire. It's about having a desire, having an interest, having a curiosity, having this childlike, I wonder what else is there in the world. I wonder what's new today. I wonder how I can have fun today. All these perspectives.
I wanted to add something that I love to say to myself, and I think it's a great thing to remember. One of the coaches, like the movement coaches, said it, and I don't remember her name. Her name is Erin, but I don't remember the last name. And she said, movement in your body means movement in your life. And I find it so true. The moment we feel a little bit stagnant or not clear in the head, what we need to do is to move energy in the body.
Yeah.
Move energy in the body.
Yeah. And also to understand that that a human being is one being. Your body is just as important as your consciousness, as your soul, etc. That's why movement of the body is so important. And but really, youth and staying young is about activating our desire. I'm sure that greatest Kabbalists, their desire did not go down as they got older, but backwards. For example, perfect example are my teachers, Rob and Karen Berg. Both of them had huge desires. They never settled, and they were never like, oh, okay, I've seen enough, I've done enough, I've experienced enough, I know enough. There was never enough. There was constantly craving, a healthy, non-lacking kind of desire for more. You know, it's not being in a state of like, oh, I'm missing things, I need more things, etc. It's the opposite. It's that I'm interested to find out more. It's this curiosity. It's this childfulness. It's also experiencing the simplest, smallest things in a way as if it's brand new for you. Also very interesting, right? Like you're experiencing things not in a way that like, oh, it's the same thing over and over again, but it's brand new. That's also a nice way to experience life, right? Like it's a brand new day. Like I like this example of how you should wake up in the morning. Imagine you live in some northern country where you basically don't have sun for, 4, 3, 5 months of the year. It's totally dark, and then you finally wake up, and it's that time of the year is over, and it's only sun now, right? And you come out in the morning and you look at it outside. How are you gonna feel? You're gonna look at the outside. You're gonna look at the sun, and it's gonna be like a brand new experience, right? So imagine experiencing that every day. So these are all little bits of how we want to stay young and playful, right? We want to have this childhood playfulness, and it's obviously all starts in the mind. It all starts in the consciousness, but it also has to reflect in the body. And like Julia said, you need to have this movement, right? And just like babies, look how fluid their bodies are. Look how much they move, and it's so easy and effortless for them. It's like they're like natural born gymnasts, right?
I love that so much, and I brought back Mickey and Aina, because Aina actually.
Hi, Aina, by the way. Sorry.
Yes, Aina is from Norway.
Oh,
yes.
Wow!
And I saw her like.
Mhm.
Like Aina, is there
That's
anything
so
you want to
funny.
say about waking up in the morning in the country?
Yeah, I mean, during the January month, Norway is actually dark from like you don't even like really see the sun, but you have like daylight, like tiny bit of daylight from like 10 to 2, and then the rest is dark. So, the kids are going to school and coming home from school in the dark. So I definitely resonated with that. I was like going, yep, that's me. But then on the flip side, during the summer, you have 24 hours of sunlight, right? When you're coming into June. I personally find the darkness it can be very challenging, for the mind, body, and spirit.
Mhm.
For sure.
Yeah.
Yes, amazing. And then there was one more thing that I remembered, Michael, from one of our classes, is that to be like a tourist, right? That concept of being a tourist.
True.
Like I was just saying to a friend of mine that I want to be in the city in Manhattan as a tourist because I've never done it. I've always worked there. I always had an agenda, always, whether it's a party or work, it's an agenda. But when you as a tourist, you always discover.
It's amazing.
And recently I moved to a new location in the same town that I've lived in for 21 years, and I'm seeing my town from a different perspective. Even this very specific street I'm seeing from I've driven down the street before, but I'm walking the street with my dogs, and it's a completely different perspective. A new feeling, a new emotion as I'm walking down the street or driving down the same street that I've driven down before.
It's amazing you saying it at the day of when the election result, yesterday election results came in.
Yeah.
I think that a lot of us feel like a different perspective is possible, a different angle, like whoever won the election, it's almost like irrelevant, like everybody's ready for new.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Totally. It's like a new chapter started.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, yeah, that's beautiful. I love that example of like being in the same city, like either in New York or living in one town, and then seeing it from a very different perspective. I grew up in New York, but when I was living in when I was living in Moscow and I would come visit New York, it would be like a tourist. And New York for tourists is probably one of the most amazing places. It's so interesting. But when you live in it, when just the city of your dwelling, and that's how you treat it, then it becomes a little bit boring and stagnant and, you know, annoying or whatever people experience. But yeah.
So staying young, one of the ways to stimulate yourself, to keep yourself in tonus, is to be a tourist. To be a tourist anywhere you are, to discover, to be curious, to be like a child and open your eyes and be excited.
Yeah.
Well, there's something I love to share with, you know, people is that, you know, come with a new mind, come with a brand new mind. And that way you're constantly experiencing things from a new perspective, from a like beginner's mind, right? So
yeah, like a kid, you know, like a kid who walks into a new space or a new environment with self-confidence and with belief in yourself, but also this openness of like, who knows what. that's why maybe kids, without realizing it, excuse me, live in a more state of questions. You know, so whenever you're in a state of questions, it's always, your mind always works in a better way, right? Like we said, like, how can I have more fun today? Like, ask yourself, like, who am I today? How can I have more fun today? How can I, you know, have a positive and a glorious adventure today? You know, like all these different questions are very, very healthy for us. And I don't know this, but I'm just thinking maybe kids are constantly living in a state of questions. And we don't want to exit this phase of like asking questions. You know, you want to stay in the phase of asking questions, because life is really such a beautiful, interesting, exciting, and curious experience, right? But if you live in a state of like not a tourist and not someone who's experiencing it for the first time and not asking questions, but just like a routine, like a Groundhog Day, then that's what it's going to be for you, right? A lot of people have this. I was speaking with a lot of my students in general, and a few of them have this syndrome. Like, I feel like I'm living in Groundhog Day, right? And it's really not going to change until our consciousness changes, right? So staying young is a beautiful thing to do, and it's super simple.
Amen to that.
Yeah.
We'll all take it, I think, right? I was thinking.
Yeah. And also doing different things with your body. Like, you know, right now we're living at such an incredible time. Like, there is the distance and time of receiving some sort of information is reduced from probably thousands of years to just literally a day. You can do a research on a subject, find out so much information, watch a video, talk to people, discover so many interesting things with literally almost no effort, right? So that means that we're binding our the distance between people, between time-wise, etc. So your ability to connect to things is so much better now. Like, for example, I'm a big practitioner and believer in cold showers and ice baths and etc. And it's such a, you know, it looks horrible, right? Like, why would anyone want to dip into a bath full of ice, right? And it doesn't feel pleasant when you start, but then after you, I think on the second minute, I don't even remember when, but like after you go through the wall of it, then you feel incredible. Then you feel like your body's being reborn, and the day after you feel unbelievable, right? You literally break the limits of your body. So being open, probably open-mindedness should be part of it, right? Never being kind of like set, like this is how it is and that's it. So open-mindedness, curiosity, being a tourist, etc. All these amazing mindsets really can help us stay immortal.
And open heart, Michael. Open heart.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, definitely. Thank you. The most important one.
So our age is not determined by the number. It's determined by the desire and by how curious we are, how open we are. And
Totally.
yeah.
Yeah, and also, you just said that, and for example, I remembered astrologically, like there's certain signs that are just like very connected to being in a certain mindset. For example, Capricorns are usually born kind of adults, and only through time they become kind of like young kids and enjoy life. But their first part of their life, they are literally the parents of their parents. They're the more responsible ones. And then there's another sign, the Aries, which is kind of the opposite. They stay young forever. They're just playful and interested and as kids for their whole life. So it's really such a not a set thing. Your age or your how long you've been here, etc., really has nothing to do with that physical number. How many times you've been around the sun?
Wow.
Not really. Not important.
Yes, kids are having fun, and it's so interesting because I have these cards on my desk. I usually pull a card, and one card, like it's been here for a while, but it's just one card I have right in front of you. Stay untamed, and stay untamed. It's kind of like being like a child, like
True.
Not.
Yeah, I just remembered. I want to say one more thing. Another great example of it is there was an episode on 60 Minutes that was talking about a place, I think in Greece, where lifespan is one of the longest on Earth. I think 100 or something years, like one of the longest on our planet. And they did some research, and they had a great diet. They had always a connection to some sort of a faith. They ate healthy, etc. Basically all the things that you could imagine that are good, right, for physical body and for the mind. But the most important one they realized was that there was no big separation of age groups. Meaning the older people were not excluded and were not kind of like separated from any other age group. All the ages would spend time together. So whether somebody, whether it's a baby of 2 to 4 years old or somebody who's 80 or 90 years old, they would spend time together. And that would also keep them engaged in this newer kind of like younger mindset. That's why it also says it's actually very good for grandparents to raise their grandkids, and it's actually good for grandkids to be raised by grandparents, because it also might be connected. But yeah, kind of like keeping in touch with the current day, current generation. It's also very good for people.
I have to show you this card, guys. Look, it was just like the universe works best when I'm having fun.
Nice.
Let's not forget fun.
Yeah, let's have fun.
And these are like, that's what they're teaching us.
Yeah.
As well. Amazing. Michael, we also wanted to touch a little bit on the legacy that we leave behind us, right? Because
True.
we're quick to talk about that.
Yeah.
Would you want to take us there for?
Yeah, I'll just, what I also mentioned, thank you for reminding, there's a few themes. So one of the themes this week that Kabbalists tell us is, first of all, staying young. Another is finding our legacy. And another one is also real estate. Our dwelling, our house, where we live, being connected to our house providing us with energy of protection, etc. But also legacy is an interesting subject. That what do we leave behind? And when you boil it down, we don't have so much time, but when you boil it down, it has really nothing to do with your physical possessions. But your legacy will always be in how much good you've done to people, how much you let go, how much kindness you had for people, how much help you offered people, without conditions and without obviously thinking and kind of saying, this is what I've done. Make sure you know what I have done, and make sure you know my name, etc. So legacy has nothing really. We always want to remember, legacy doesn't mean physically. Legacy always means about our character, about how much goodness we brought to the world, how much kindness, how much care we made for the world. And this also stems from the story of Sarah, and it's not the way people traditionally understand this character, but basically she had this incredible connection to spirituality. She had an incredible understanding of the creator, of this universe, but she didn't keep it to herself. It wasn't like she realized it and she just went to the mountains and lived there. She dedicated her life to assist others in connecting to that. So it says that it's a beautiful teaching. It says that, a teacher, when they teach students spirituality, it's almost like they're creating new souls. And a spiritual teacher is almost like a parent to their students. So it's like, it says that Sarah created thousands of souls. Obviously, it's interesting. How can you create souls, right? They should be existing already. But she revealed them. She helped people connect to their truth, connected to their love, connected to their soul, connected to the creator. So that's what it means, that Kabbalistically, of really having a legacy is how much goodness I've done. Did I volunteer? Did I share of my time? Did I forgive? Did I become nicer, kinder, and more caring towards everyone around me, right? And not just people that it's easy for me or that I'm expecting to get something from them, right? With people that you want something from, it's very easy to be nice to them. People that you don't really need anything from and don't give you anything, it's a little bit tougher. It's a little bit harder. So legacy has a lot to do with how much kindness, positivity I'm extending from myself to other people. Mercy, right? This positivity, this goodness, how much goodness I'm offering to the world. And look at these amazing examples, right? Like people that lived thousands of years ago, and we don't know them because of necessarily physical things that are done, but really it's spiritual things. It's kindness, it's care, leadership, etc. So legacy Kabbalistically has a lot to do with that aspect, not the physical. Yeah. And real estate, just to touch upon it, that you want to look at your house, at your dwelling place, as a live entity, as not something that's stagnant and something that's just made out of brick and walls and physical things. Kabbalah teaches us that everything has consciousness, and the more spiritual you become, your ability to communicate with even, not only with, obviously with animals, with plants, but inanimate objects becomes effortless. And when you walk into a house, you can feel the energy, right? You can feel the energy. You can feel the walls. You can feel the house. Like, is it happy? Is it sad? Is it cluttered? Is it open? Is it welcoming? So one of the things that obviously a house is meant to do, first of all, a house is meant to be clean, right? Is meant to be not cluttered, at least. That's why we also energetically, it's good to burn sage. It's good to burn all those herbs, to clear out the space energetically. Also physically, also it's not just spiritual, but physically also. And you want to use the house as a place where you welcome people. That's very important. That it's a beautiful saying in Hebrew. It says when you kind of introduce your house or do housewarming, in Hebrew it's called education of the house. And you're kind of educating that the house is meant to be a space of welcoming people. So it's not a place of stagnation and kind of like sadness just for you, but it's a place for people to be welcomed and feel at home for everyone. So it's a beautiful teaching, I think. So not to forget that, first of all, to keep our space clutter-free. And there's a great show on Netflix of Maria Kondo, I think. She's amazing. She really practices this. And
Maria
Kondo, right? Yeah.
Maria.
So, but also to have hospitality, being welcoming, welcoming people and using the house. The Kabbalists say there's nothing wrong with owning a $50 million house, right? Nothing wrong with that. as long as you're using it for the right purposes, right? Not just for you to isolate yourself, but to welcome people, to have events, to maybe have fun, fundraiser, whatever, classes, lectures, experiences, etc. That's always going to bring this energy of kindness to the space.
I love that, and it's so like universe works so magically, because today Aina joined us completely unexpectedly. I didn't even know we have a guest in the house.
Nice.
Number one,
Right.
our house
Yeah,
is
that's true. Wow, it's perfect.
Now, what you don't know about Aina, Michael, is that she does Feng Shui, and she teaches people how to create space in your house where it could be your best vessel possible, right? So she's teaching how to allow the energy to flow in a way that it will be most nurturing and supportive, and how to create that house, right? And it's so interesting that today you're talking about that.
That's amazing. Wow. No coincidences.
Right?
Never.
And we're at Aina's house.
Yes,
Oh,
you're
that's amazing. Wow.
Brand new house, by the way. This is brand new house.
Wow, congratulations.
Thank you.
That's amazing. Wow.
And the first thing I did was I cleansed the house.
Beautiful.
I did the burning of the sage, and what I do personally is I first go around the entire house burning a black candle. Then I burn, just to remove any residual energies or anything that doesn't belong there. Then I walk around with a white light, and of course you let these candles burn out. And then I do a flower blessing, which takes 28 days. And what I'm doing is setting the intention of what I want my home to be. Like, what do I want to bring into this home? What do I want my home to express? So, yeah, very in alignment with what you were doing, Michael. Very nice.
That's amazing.
I love the intention setting for the house. We should do that. It doesn't have to be a new house. We can.
No, right? And it's so funny because I turned to Aina and I said, I need some sage. She says, I have some upstairs.
I have some upstairs. I'll send you home with some.
Because I also have a new home.
Beautiful. Wow.
So our house is our vessel, right? Like, this is where we come to nurture. This is where we come to restore and come back to from. Well, right now we're spending more time in the houses because of COVID. Even more so, it needs love back from us, and it also helps us to stay young.
Yeah,
the house is supporting that energy, then it helps us a lot.
True.
right.
And to feel looking at it from new eyes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You don't want stagnant energy within your home, just like you don't want stagnant energy within you, because that will then age you, right? And so, you constantly want to be infusing your home, your vessel, with, whatever intention you're wanting, with happiness, peace, love,
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Theme today is new. Did you notice?
It all new.
Yeah.
New energy.
Amazing.
Michael, is there anything else that, before we go, I hope we have time for meditation, right?
Yeah, we do. One thing that I think we shared it with you that I just wanted to share with everyone last week that I really used was, there was a lot of kind of energy of stagnation, a lot of like old energy, etc. And I didn't feel so uplifted. So what I did was laughing yoga. And I think we mentioned it before, which is a great exercise, where you just pretend like you're laughing from a good experience I did it for, I think, 2 or 3 minutes. And it's not easy. It takes a lot of lung power. But afterwards, it's such a relief. It's just like everything becomes lighter, and last week was pretty heavy, I think, for everyone. Energetically, it was an intense week. And that was one way how I personally was connecting, right? Obviously, meeting with my students, doing healing sessions with them, etc. That always helps me as well. But proactive, spiritual, personal way of doing it that's what I used. It's a very simple way of just connecting to the light and the creator just by laughing. So very simple. And what about you, Julia?
I've never done laughing yoga.
It's amazing.
But I am laughing a lot, and I used to be excused from classes, being asked to leave class because I'm laughing too much.
It's amazing.
And lately, yes, and like I've been getting in trouble in the like very serious environment in the opera house when all of a sudden I would start laughing. So, but for me, laughter, it's just like from your gut. Laughter is like from your heart. When your heart is laughing, it's such a blessing. It's really just releasing the tension
and laughter yoga is actually used. I don't know if you guys are aware, but for like, you know, cancer patients, for like other diseases, you can utilize laughter yoga to actually start healing from that.
Yeah. It's a very strong stress relieving activity. And it's amazing things for your body. I mean, you can really Google it and YouTube it, and there's exercise on how to do it. And they say, like you said, they say amazing, miraculous things come from it. For all the organs, the body, etc. And also kids, like perfect in theme with today. Kids, they laugh a lot, they have fun, they giggle, etc. That's energy of youth. Also, is laughter.
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah.
Thank you for the inspiration. So this week, let's laugh. Let's laugh from the heart. Let's open our heart. Let's get up in the morning and welcome the day. Let's take care of our house. Let's take care of our bodies and our souls, and just let's be light.
Amen.
Let's not take ourselves too serious. Kids don't.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Totally. Okay.
Meditation?
Yes, let's do a quick meditation to bring all this energy to us, and to make it a part of us. So very simple. If you want to follow along or just listen, you want to close your eyes, be very comfortable, be relaxed. You want to concentrate and focus your consciousness in your heart. And then send your consciousness to the middle of the earth. And then you want to pull this energy from the middle of the earth and feel it come through your entire body. This new energy of creation, of newness. Really feel it in your entire body. And you want to feel as it pops on top of your head and forms a beautiful ball of light. And then you want to imagine that you are in this ball of light. And you want to observe everything around you through this ball of light. And you want to send this ball of light above your body, above the building you're in, starting to elevate from our planet, from the city, from the state, from the country, continent, from the entire planet, enter our solar system, and traveling faster than the speed of light, at the speed of thought, to the edge of the universe. And then going through the edge of the universe and going through layers of lights, passing through layers of lights and becoming brighter and brighter and brighter, and coming to a very bright layer of light. And then the next is a golden layer of light, and then jello-like substance. And we see an opening in a distance of pearl-like iridescent light. We want to approach this opening, go through it, and enter the Creator's plane of iridescent tingling light. You want to go up in this space, just pure energy here. And you want to feel that you're melting and becoming one with this energy. And here we can receive consciousness, energy, downloads, love from the Creator. So to connect with everything that we spoke about, we want to receive a download of what it means and what it feels like to be young, to stay open-minded, to stay curious, to open our hearts, to have an open heart. So if you want all those consciousness, say yes. And also to remove any resentment or pain or hurt we might have that usually prevents us from being young. To forgive. And any form of resentment, rejection, regret we might experience, that's the gravity, that's what might hold us down. So we want to live without it. So if you want to know what it means and what it feels like and how to live your life without resentment, regret, rejection, close-mindedness, and close-heartedness, say yes. Also, our homes, we want to send energy, to inject it with the energy of the light of the Creator, to provide support for us, to provide a sense of security, a sense of place where we can heal. So if you want to inject your house with this energy, say yes. And we also want to awaken the immortality gene within us to repair our DNA, to bring healing to it. So if you want to connect to the healing energy, to the immortality, say yes. And we always want to close with healing and unconditional love of the Creator, and send it also to the entire world, to the entire human race. Bring instantaneous healing to our entire body and unconditional love of the Creator to us and to this entire world. So if you want to participate in that and receive it for yourself, say yes. And before you open your eyes, you just want to rinse yourself in this Creator's energy, fill yourself up, and open your eyes. Awesome. Thank you, ladies. Thank you, everyone joining.
Thank you, everybody. If you're watching us as replay, you can also leave us comments. Thank you, everyone who are joining us, and we will read all the comments, whether you're watching it now or as replay. And if any questions, we will address them and reply. If you're watching it on YouTube, please subscribe to our channel so you get notifications, and let us know, thumbs up, thumbs down, whatever you feel. Would like to hear from you. Next Sunday, Miki, right? Next Sunday at 12. Meet us here for consciousness.
Same time.
Awesome.
Energy of the week. Thank you, everyone who joined us. Thank you, Aina, Miki, Michael. It's been amazing. Michael, what do you think, everybody?
What?
You are amazing.
Yeah, you are amazing. Don't forget. You are amazing. I'm amazing. We're all amazing.
Amazing. Don't forget.
Love it. Love it.
Bye.
All right.